Hey guys. Well, today I just need to be in the sun, so I don't know if that's going to be good camera work or not, but it is a beautiful spot. Look, I'm right by the water edge. I don't know where my camera's pointing exactly, but anyway, the nice bank over there. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like grass coming over the top, but it's all full of flowers. Oh, a little bit of trash, but you know, that's from flooding. And beautiful spot. Anyway, hopefully that works. You're not looking at the sky the whole time or something. Anyway, these videos are as much a surprise for me as they are for you guys. I just found a good spot to sit. And a calm sense of myself, but not until about 1 o'clock today. A little rough ride this morning. Nothing, you know, like, as they call it, a first world problem. So like my challenging day is like, you know, I don't know. It's part of getting sensitive. Vibrationally, it's, I feel like I'm being fired from my job, but I'm firing myself. If that makes any sense to anybody. But anyway, with no, you know, sense of you've got everything covered. No, let's do it at a very tumultuous time in, you know, running a business, especially a family business where everybody's involved. So, anyway, but luckily I was firmly on this journey before this situation came, but now I'm having to pull all in to the vibrational connection, and I'm seeing how tough it is as soon as I step out a little bit, that I'm like, no, you gotta lean in. I'm like, okay, can't watch what's going on back there. I'm just leaning in as hard as I can. So I gotta be in the woods more. So 1 o'clock before I can get my head clear is too long. I can come out of the woods and still keep my head clear, but I just need to get in earlier. I have my moments when I'm just before I really wake up too. So yeah, I don't know, you know, I'm checking in and getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on a lot of time throughout the day, but I'm seeing that I need to put more time in. And when I'm out, it's really pretty dramatic. It's like, interesting things going on. But anyway, it seems like nobody's really neutral in their energy. The goods have always been good, so maybe they're a little bit gooder. But the fear energy and the, you know, fear energy, leave it at that. That is a bit off the charts too. So we just have a lot of, my left hand's holding a camera, so we have some stretching going on right now. There's a lot of tension in the air because everybody's sort of, you know, getting anchored down in their, how they react to things. There's no time to think about, you can't play your cards differently right now than you really, than it's like show your cards type of thing. And so that's where we are. It's good fun. The bigger the little situation you're encountering, the bigger the reward for your soul, and the bigger chunk that you obviously, when you came from all enlightenment and came down to this time on the planet, you knew you were coming for. You came for whatever you're dealing with right now, struggle-wise. So the sooner you sort of integrate that into your processing of what's going on around you, the better. You could just leave the video at that. Call it 4 minutes. It really all dances around that. So, breathing in the perfection after you've come to grips with everything that's going on around here, how this machine works and how there's no wrong thing you could have done and there's nothing you need to reconcile about your past, and you've been loving on yourself more and more and appreciating the pace of your 3 to 5 year old version of yourself dragging you along by your pinky. That's who, by the way, has been firing me from my jobs and from life and from normalcy and putting me out here in the woods. That guy, the 3 to 5 year old version of myself. I put him in charge. years ago. And really doubled down on him in the last year. And so here I am. When I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you can plug in anything. How it would work for Baltimore's commerce in here and things like that, but down to the little minutia of, how do you interact with another person? I mean, let me think about that for a second. What would be a good example about something like this? Let's look at it this way. One was going to come to me, and I feel it, but it's hard to put it into words. You just feel these information downloads, and they're one of the treats you get from being tuned in, tapped in, turned on. It's such a sense of peace that you're like, you know what, little guy, you just keep pulling me. I call him my Danny body, because that's my family called me when I was a kid, Danny. So my little Danny body, when he takes me around, it is delicious. You know what? So if I'm wrong and letting go isn't the answer, and creating the how-tos of society between commerce and big industry and me, that's just a byproduct. It's not really the real question to be asking. The real question to be asking is, how do I get tuned in, tapped in, turned on? And I can explain that, and I know that the more voice I can give to my version of tips on how to get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, as I'm expressing that in my version, you'll find one that either works for you or it doesn't. Either you sort of resonate with the way I am explaining it through vibration and understanding that all knowledge is really information downloads of an experience, of an emotion, which is really what the soul's here for on this planet, is to play with emotions through time and this whole time warp thing that's going on, and converting energy into matter, and having things appear outside of you in a vibration of a challenge you're trying to play with so you can learn from it. It's the difference between going to the library and reading about being an auto mechanic and going in and fixing a car. Or better yet, going to the library and looking at and reading about how to work with paintbrushes and canvases, and actually having a paintbrush and a canvas and making a piece of art. That's a whole nother thing then. It's like reading about something as opposed to doing something. The experience of doing is the only thing that's ever meant anything to anyone. It's the only thing you learn from. Doing is more like feeling, like vibration, not reading. Going out and getting information from people is the past. It's a prior vibration they had of a past event that you can't be in anybody's now. Your now is happening here. It's where all the magic is. It's a beautiful spot, and all religions give lots of stories of heavens and hells and different situations and rules and regulations. It's the book. But all the book is saying is go within. Find that connection. Tuned in, tapped in, tuned in, turned on. It only flows one way. You can't say those 3 words the wrong way. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing. And when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, everything makes sense. You can explain, you can just deeply understand everything. Then you understand something, it's like, oh, I got to write that understanding down and give it to somebody or implement it or whatever. And you're like, no, that's the feeling of what you know is already coming. So all I did do is just sort of like, oh, not like I'm necessarily giving it, but I am giving it. It's like, oh, I felt it. I felt the love and perfection of the loving solution to that problem out there that I thought was a problem that really isn't, but it became a problem so that I could learn this lesson, this energetic download that I needed about how love reacts to that particular vibration that was happening out there, whatever caught my eye. And I'm a soul trying to integrate to my body and be the love that it really is. And the more you're below it and your higher self, your true self is stays, you just drop. The more you drop, the more tension between that rubber band. And the farther you get from it, the more diseased you are. And as you let go and you just let things happen, you just rise. And it's letting go of resistance that lets it happen. So it's kind of weird, like, how do you tell someone to go do it? How do you tell somebody about it? You just got to start letting go. As soon as you feel funny in the day, just stop. What's going on? The breath is always the place to start. Then you start loving on yourself. The more you love on yourself, it's like plugging into an outlet. I just need electrical current on my side. The light of divinity has everything it needs. It brings down more than I can take. So I'm only going to let in as much vibrational in-depth download of love information as I'm ready to take. I'm going to have to breathe and love on myself to not to, confess my sins or to say that, there's a certain, some way in through meditative process or something. It's not. It's just loving on yourself. How do you love on yourself? Everyone's going to do it different. How do you love on someone else? How do you love on your pets? How do you love on anything? You talk real nicely to it. You hold them. And you defend them and say, you're great. You're the best version of Dan Hicks this planet has ever seen. And there'll never be another one like you on the planet for the rest of its life. What do you want to do? I feel so happy. I know you're really happy. What do you want to do? Just want to be happy. I love this feeling. No, what do you want to do with it? I know. I'm here to do something with it. I guess that where'd that come from? I think from my soul, who's saying, what do you want to do? Well, I'll explain the process of where I'm going. How about that? I keep going on my happy journey, and I just tell people how to follow along. Fair enough. All right, it's a deal. That's all I'm going to do. Not doing any more work. I'm not going to break the rule of not sitting down when I say, feels funny. I don't feel the same as when I woke up this morning. Right. All right, fair enough. So, game on. That's the end of our video for today. What format do you want me to proceed with the path to enlightenment? Fixing the little things of Baltimore in your little neighborhood, or just let them happen later, and instead how to get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and then pepper in some reminders about how do you, the benefits of being in, and how do you sort of view the process to say, oh, why did the past people do astrology? Why'd they keep track of the planets? We, for a long time, thought that the planet was, it's hard to even say it. The Earth was the center of the universe and everything went around it. Was it flat before that, I think? Or was it flat then, I guess? I don't know. But anyway, and we defended that it was flat. Our ancestors did that. The ones who built this society and decided how government should be run. Those people thought that the planet was flat. I think we're ready for a new version of how this process works, who we are, what are we doing here. Let's create some new churches, some new religions, and some new process of, remember my point of dial 911 if you're emotionally struggling. We'll come and get you. 311 is reserved for something broken, if something does, you got something wrong, we'll get to it. Just breathe, love on yourself. You're going to live and you're going to die, and we're not going to worry too much about that part. Defending ourselves, not too much expense, time, and energy spent into defending ourselves. From what? The only thing I got to worry about is wasting my life by not getting tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Because my soul has things it wants to do here. This is the only chance I get to actually play with the mud and the clay and the things I want to sculpt. after I go here, it's just as lovely, just as beautiful, more divine and perfect, and you're gonna love it there, and you'll get it to be just the way you want it vibrationally. However you dream of things in your life, when you have that oh so happy dream, that's the way it'll be when you're on the other side. You'll create it just the way you like it. But here, you get to mix with everybody and see how other people like it, and have the contrast, and then now integrate who were you as a soul and how you act with everybody around you. And it's a fun game, magic happens, and I hate to see anybody miss out. Anyway, does the stream look better without the sun beating on me? Aww. Anyway, sorry, that was a extra innings there. Tie game for a minute, we just had to keep rolling. So, love you guys, and I'll talk to you again soon.